Hi everyone, my name's Adriana and welcome. I'm so glad to have you here today. I am so excited for this second video. I decided to do another series. Something I'm super passionate about is movies, everything surrounding them, film, cinematography, all of the above. I'm the type of person where as soon as I finish a film or even a TV series, I will immediately go on YouTube and watch all of the cast interviews, all of the press tour, all the behind the scenes videos. I love everything about that world. So I thought it would be fun to do a series ranking different movie genres, and today we're starting with dystopian movies, which honestly probably is one of my favorite genres. I love dystopian movies. I'm literally all cozy in my pajamas and ready to go to bed, and I really wanted to watch a movie tonight, and I really wanted to watch a dystopian movie tonight, so maybe going through this tier list will help me decide what movie to rewatch. But first, I have to take you through my tier ranking system and show you how I'm gonna rank every movie today. Before I get into actually ranking everything, I want to preface that this is not meant to be mean or bash anyone or their performances or the filmmaking. What might be my least favorite movie might be someone else's favorite movie and vice versa, so I think that's what's cool about it, is we all have different tastes. So yeah, I just want to keep this lighthearted and fun. I'm going to be using 6 different tiers for this. So first, at the bottom tier, we have, unfortunately, Worse Than the Dystopia itself. This is like the movie was pretty painful to watch, and maybe I really wanted to like it, but I just couldn't get myself to like it. Second to the bottom, we have Wasted Potential. This is perhaps maybe a book that was really good and then the film version was just not adapted properly. Third, we have Cool Concept, Meh Execution. These are movies where I got the vibe they were going for and I got the picture they were trying to paint, but it could have just been done differently, or I think it could have been done in a better way. Fourth, we have Pass the Vibe Check. This is just a solid dystopian movie, does what it needs to, checks all the boxes, keeps me entertained. Fifth, I have Would Join the Rebellion. I love this movie. I would die for this movie. It is a perfect dystopian movie. Last but not least, we have the sixth and top tier, This Changed the Simulation. This is reserved for movies that are an absolute masterpiece. I have no notes, perfect in every way. I am emotionally invested. Let's get started. I'm so excited. First, we're starting off with Never Let Me Go, which is with Carey Mulligan, Andrew Garfield, and Keira Knightley. I read the book version of this before I watched the movie, and so I think just because of that, I'm gonna put this in Cool Concept, Meh Execution.
So if you haven't seen Never Let Me Go, it follows 3 friends growing up at a really strict English boarding school where they aren't allowed to leave, and as they get older, they begin to discover the outside world and the real reason why they were raised there.
I really liked the book when I read it, and to be fair, I did read the book and watch this movie a few years ago, but I do remember when I read the book and then watched the movie, it just didn't live up to the book version for me, but I still really loved the story and the characters and the actors in this movie. Next, we're going with a classic, which is Maze Runner. I am putting this in Would Join the Rebellion. I loved this movie. Maze Runner is one of those classic dystopian movies where when you say the word dystopian, I feel like this is one of the first few movies that comes to my mind. I love this movie, and I feel like this is a really good movie if you want to get into dystopian movies.
The main character Thomas wakes up in an almost orchestrated environment or community, and it's surrounded by this massive maze, and he wakes up with absolutely no memory, but it turns out he's not alone. There's already a bunch of other teenagers who are also trapped in this area, and throughout the movie they try to figure out how to get through the maze and a way to escape.
Next, we have The Truman Show. I feel like I don't really need to give an explanation for this, but this is going top tier. Jim Carrey is phenomenal in this movie, and the whole concept and the whole execution. Everything is perfect about it.
Truman thinks he just lives a normal, typical life until weird things start happening around him, and it turns out his whole world might actually just be for a giant TV show he knows nothing about.
Next is The Darkest Minds, which I feel like is a little underrated, and honestly, I didn't hear about it or know about it until recently, but I'm gonna put this in Pass the Vibe Check. I was really pleasantly surprised when I watched this movie because I thought this could be really hit or miss. I think it did have some moments, especially towards the end, but honestly, it kept me entertained.
So in this world, children start developing powers and abilities that the government fears and tries to control by putting them in camps. Ruby escapes from her camp and meets a group of teenagers on the run who join together and try to fight back.
I can't do this video without mentioning the dystopian movie, which is The Hunger Games, which is going on the top tier.
I feel like everyone has at least heard of The Hunger Games, but if you haven't watched it, every year the Capitol selects one boy and one girl from each of the 12 districts to fight to the death, with only one victor to survive, and Katniss volunteers for her sister in the games.
While we're at it, I feel like I should just rank all the other Hunger Games movies. Side note, I'm so excited for Haymitch's movie to come out. It comes out next year. Oh, okay. Ranking the other ones is gonna be hard because I feel like the first one is just such a classic, so that's why I'm putting it top tier. Catching Fire is so good though. I feel like that's the fan favorite. But do I want to put that top tier? I don't know. I think I'm reluctant to put it top tier because that is the one I've seen the most. So I don't want to say I'm sick of it because I could never be sick of it. I don't want to put these all top tier. Oh, okay. I'm gonna put Catching Fire and Would Join the Rebellion because it still is a masterpiece and is obviously perfect. Mockingjay Part 1, I'm also gonna put Would Join the Rebellion because that is also just a classic. Mockingjay Part 2, I'm also gonna put in Would Join the Rebellion. Okay, but Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I loved this movie and experiencing it in the theater was life-changing. I love music too, so I feel like that was a big part of it for me, and I loved Lucy Gray's character. I thought the movie was so well done. The casting, Tom and Rachel were so exceptional in this movie, and I thought they were so perfect for these roles. Next is Interstellar, which is immediately top tier.
When Earth starts dying from a giant dust bowl, a former NASA pilot joins a mission to basically save the human race and find a new home for humanity. But the further he travels, the more time and reality starts to bend.
Just everything about this, the story, the visuals, the actors, the cinematography, the score, everything about it is just exceptional. If you haven't seen this, you need to see it and you need to watch it. Next, we're going with The Giver. I also feel like I didn't hear about this until kind of recently. I'm gonna put this in Wasted Potential. Oh, I feel bad. This is like the first lower tier movie. I never read the book. I heard great things about the book though, and then I feel like the movie didn't perform as well as people thought it would have.
Jonas lives in this world without pain, color, or memories, but he has chosen to inherit the truth and basically be a keeper for everyone's memories. But once he gains knowledge and sees what's been hidden, he discovers a lot of dangerous secrets.
Next, we have Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know if this is kind of an unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna put this in cool concept meh execution.
A man and a woman wake up 90 years too early on a spaceship headed for a new planet, so they're stuck together, but then the ship starts malfunctioning.
This is a semi-spoiler if you haven't seen the movie. I would have loved to see the movie in the perspective of being in the unknown with Jennifer Lawrence almost, where the audience also didn't know that Chris Pratt woke up her character. I think it just would have made it so much more interesting, but that's just me. Next, we have another dystopian movie that I can't not mention, which is Divergent. Honestly, one of my favorite dystopian movies.
This takes place in futuristic Chicago, where you're sorted into one of the 5 factions based on your personality. But Triss finds out she doesn't fit into just one faction and that she is divergent, which makes her a target.
But do I want to put it? I really want to say it's top tier because it just has such a special place in my heart. This is the first dystopian movie I ever really watched or got into. I've rewatched this movie so many times, but I don't know if it's at the same level as Truman and Interstellar, so that's the only reason I'm hesitant. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna put this in Would Join the Rebellion, but trust me when I say I am a big Divergent stand. Next, I have Insurgent, which is the second Divergent movie. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna put this in Wasted Potential. I read the books, and I obviously loved the first book a lot, and the second book was also really good. The movie just didn't live up to what the book was. The third, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna put this in worse than the dystopia itself. Even the third book, I remember when I was reading the trilogy, I just really started to lose interest, especially how it ended. But it makes me so sad because even just seeing the Divergent movies slowly start to dwindle because I loved the first one and the performance-wise declined. Next, we have The Fifth Wave. I'm gonna put this in Pass the Vibe Check. I actually liked this movie. I know it doesn't have a lot of great reviews. It kept me engaged.
After 4 alien attacks wipe out most of humanity, Cassie is on her own trying to find her little brother in the world before the mysterious 5th wave hits.
I can see how people wouldn't like it. I think it checks the boxes that it needs to. Next is a fairly recent one, which is Uglies. I'm so sorry. I just couldn't get into this one. I'm gonna have to put this in worse than the Dystopia itself. I don't even know if I finished it. I think I did. I had to have finished it because I do remember most of the plot.
Everyone gets this extreme makeover or plastic surgery session when they turn 16 to become pretty, but when Tally's friend runs away, she's forced to choose between her new life or exposing the truth.
I remember kind of skipping through parts and just not really liking the concept of it. This movie I also feel like I didn't know about until fairly recently. It's The Mortal Instruments, and I'm gonna put this in past the vibe check, which I feel like also might be an unpopular opinion. Maybe some of the visuals could have been better, but the plot kept my attention, and the fact that it starred Lily Collins and Jamie Campbell really made it pull through for me.
Clary lives a completely normal life in New York City until she finds out she's a descendant from a line of shadow hunters.
Now we have The Thinning. I'm also gonna put this on the bottom. Kind of was skipping through this movie a little bit.
In this movie, the world is overpopulated and students have to take an aptitude test. If they fail it, they are executed.
That was a little painful for me. Last but not least, I don't know if this is technically considered dystopian, but I feel like I have to include it because it's honestly probably in my top 5 favorite movies, and that is Arrival. I am obviously putting this in top tier.
Luis is a linguistics professor brought in to help decode an alien language after mysterious spaceships land in 12 different spots around the world.
This movie is so underrated in so many different ways. The cinematography, the themes, and the score in this movie are absolutely insane. Those are all my rankings for dystopian movies. I think I decided after doing this that I'm gonna rewatch Interstellar because that is such a classic and I haven't seen it in so long. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed a little discussion about dystopian movies. Again, I just wanted to keep this lighthearted. Everyone has different opinions. What's my favorite movie might not necessarily be someone else's favorite movie. I'm already excited to film the second video for this and do another genre, so stay tuned.